Well, I guess when you hit that button, it resets everything.
Uh,
All right. Welcome to another amazing episode of the Drew Set Leadership Show. Today's guest, Amanda Miah, is the dynamic first-time founder and CEO of Besti Co, an innovative period care company already making waves as the startup to watch. A VOT Awards and Render competition winner, Amanda brings a unique global lens to women's health. Honed during her time as chief staff at an international NGO and shaped by years of living in England and traveling across 4 continents. A true builder at heart, Amanda doesn't just solve problems, she challenges the status quo with a sharp insight and relentless curiosity. From global policy rooms to personal care shelves, Amanda's mission is clear: to make everyday solutions smarter and more respectful and radically more convenient. Her mantra, convenience isn't lazy, it's respectful of other people's time and energy. So with that, welcome to the show, Amanda.
hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this one. Amanda, I think we met maybe 2 or 3 years ago now at the render competition.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
Seems like a lifetime ago.
it does. It does. At its core, Besti Co is a subscription box, or at least it has been a subscription box. And I gotta say, it's the best darn subscription box I've ever heard of, period.
Nice play on words there.
Couldn't resist. No, it's so before we get into the box, let's talk a little bit about your journey. NGO, international travel. How did tell us about that?
Yep. So I lived in England for 5 years. That's where my husband is from. And
Okay.
so I moved there in 2011. And, my son was born there. That was where our lives were based. But as my son was getting older, I missed being near my family. And so we did make the move and we came back to Kentucky, where I'm from. But yeah, I had been working for international development organization there in London, and they were actually in the process of opening an office here in the US. And so I started, I was like one of the first staff members there. And so, kind of got to see what it was like going from an organization that was established. It had been around for 50 years. They had 400 staff members and a global presence with field staff all around the world. And then to being like in the space where you're like the third employee and you're building from the ground up, setting up systems and all that. So that's where I really cut my teeth in this startup space, was making that transition and helping them build something here.
Awesome. Yeah. So okay, that makes, I didn't know that piece of your story. That makes a lot of sense. My wife, we moved out to Texas for a long time to chase my career, but my wife is an only child. And I didn't realize that when you marry an only child, you also marry her hometown. So we also ended up back in Kentucky to be close to family. That's fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your favorite thing that you miss from England?
Ooh, some of the food, especially like the baked goods and the sweets, they do that really, really well. And then, but I know England's like kind of known for like some of their bland
yeah, that's what I was
food.
thinking.
Yeah. But they do know how to do cake and pastries really, really well.
That's funny. We during COVID, like the heyday of COVID, we were British baking show fanatics. We watched we binged like every episode. So I can believe you.
They do take their cakes very seriously. I will say that.
Gotcha. Okay, so you kind of experienced startup life there at that, and you kind of fell in love with it, I suppose, because here we are. When was the moment that you knew, hey, period care is something that I want to spend the next chapter of my life chasing?
So it was definitely not on my radar at all. I spent 7 years with that organization and had plans to stay in the international development sector, but it honestly was it started, and you probably heard this story because I think I had, this is what I tell when I was like doing the pitch competition at Render. But it was after I had, I'm working this job that's very in-depth and demanding. I was the chief of staff, and so there was just a lot going on. And
Yeah.
then obviously had a small child. And so juggling all of the things, I was constantly like on the very lowest scale of my priorities, like keeping and managing my own personal care.
Mhm.
And so we would go through this cycle, me and my husband, where I'd like, oh no, I started my period and I don't have anything. Can you go to the store? And he would joke with me and be like, you know,
You doing this on
I
purpose?
will,
You're
I
doing this on
will
purpose.
do this for you, but like, how is this a surprise? Like, come
Yeah.
on. But he had went to the store and I had asked for all the things. I was like, I want some chocolate and like get me like one of those face masks, and I'm just gonna sit on the sofa and eat that. And obviously the night pads, that was the primary thing that I wanted. But all the extra things that go around trying to just make yourself feel better when you're really not
Yeah.
feeling great. But he had brought back adult diapers. And so it was just this scenario where I'm like, okay. And like in my head, just thinking like, there has got to be a better way. Like there's got to be a better way so that like this does not happen again, because this, and
That's a scream.
yep. So that was really the catalyst. And I was up one night just thinking, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be great if I could just get the products shipped to me and then it would come and sync with my cycle so that like I don't have to worry about it, because I've got too many other things on my plate. My mental load is full. And so that really was the idea behind it. And I had went to some of my friends, was like, hey, I had this thought, like, what do you think about this? And everyone was like, oh my God, like sign me up. And so that's really, I was like, okay, well, if I've got people who are actually willing to pay for this, then it was that begin of like, okay, I think there's some market viability here.
So what I love about this story is that it is a complete mystery to those of us on the other side of the aisle here. Like we have no concept of this. I have two daughters. I have, of course, a wife, and I have two daughters. And so I've gradually learned about this side of life. And what you're highlighting is actually I'm a huge fan of Buy Back Your Time, Dan Martell. High functioning women have this extra task that they have to perform that men have no concept of. And yeah, having it figured out, it's of course, probably at this time, it's 2017 in the story timeline here. Surely we can figure this out. Surely this is a thing that we can automate. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Real quick story, like just about for the guys that are watching the show. My youngest daughter turned 7, and she wanted an Elsa birthday party. And so my oldest daughter was like, oh yeah, I'll do that. So she's going to dress up like Elsa to be like kind of the clown, the princess at the party.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to me, my wife had planned to not be involved in this at all. So I ended up helping my daughter buy all the makeup, which was like 17 layers of white sparkles. I
imagine.
Me white. And so the day of the party comes, and Andrea takes all of the kids and just leaves me at home with my probably 12-year-old daughter at the time. And I was like, honey, aren't you going to do Aubrey's makeup? And she's like, nope, that's for you. And so, trial by sparkle, trial by fire, I got to experience your all's world a little bit, getting ready for an hour and a half, helping my oldest daughter kind of makeup. And I've said this for years. Guys have no concept of this. Like ladies will run around every day having done a masterpiece work of art in the morning in the mirror, and I just like comb my hair and like put some gel in it. That's it.
You've got it so easy.
Yeah. So when you have high profile ladies like yourself running things, it's non-trivial the amount of extra stuff that has to be managed.
Yep. And that was really the idea. I'm very much a fan of convenience, and I always am looking for things that's like, what is going to save me the most effort, the most time? Like I just, I've got other things that I prefer to worry about that are going to be more productive. And so this is just one of those things. It's like, why, like in the realm of period care, where again, why is this a surprise? This happens every month. And so like half the population are dealing with this. Like, why aren't we like innovating in this area? And so that it was a massive drive for me. It's like, how do I literally make this like you can click a button, it's done. You don't have to think about it again, because that's what I wanted. So,
yeah. So let's talk about real quick, because now you're starting a physical box. A lot of the startup world is all about, hey, let's make an app, then we can sell the data, and we live in a world of big data and AI and stuff. Talk to me about the challenges selling a physical product and trying to make a physical product work.
Yep. So that was a huge pivot for me, and like discovering one, you're hunting manufacturers. In this period care, pads and tampons are medical devices. And so then you're looking at FDA regulations. And so there's so much involved in this specific space. And I learned a ton in those, like that initial concept, because I did like in that, again, when we piloted this, I used other brands' products. But knowing it's like to make the profit margin and all the business economics of it work, we needed to have our own products. And when you're building a brand, you're building trust. And we wanted to be different than some other very like a Tampax. We like are looking at products that are actually good for you, like organic. And coming from London and living under the EU of what the regulations that they have versus even the FDA, because the EU is a lot more strict on like the products that are allowed to be sold to consumers. And so looking for products that would fit my standard based on what it's like, I know what the EU would regulate. I want something that they would regulate. So something that, would fit into both those categories. So hunting for the products, and then, adding on to that too, we're incorporating snacks and self-care products. We've got supplements now. So we do have a la carte items that you can purchase, but it's a lot of complexity. But I was kind of used to taking these big complex challenges, working in the international development space and executing on them. So but it's fun. I mean, I love being the taste tester for the snacks.
I think that you're taking that hit. That's we all have to.
Someone's got to do it. So, and my son, I let him taste test sometimes as well. He always asks me, he's like, "What's new on Bestie's radar? Like, what's the new snack this month?" So just trying to make sure that also it's like we want to care for our customers. Because there's that aspect of having your period as well. It's a physiological experience, but it's emotional. And so just like knowing it's like, I put a lot of thought in what goes in. It's like, will they like this? Is this something that you can enjoy that is fitting for everyone? And so like, there's just a lot of thought process that goes through the selection. It's a cool thing. But I will say we are leaning too into the tech side of it. And we released an app. And so there is this element because, it's like if it's going to be in time with your menstrual cycle and make it really convenient, there's got to be a way to track that. And so we have a period tracker that syncs with our shop and with the subscription process, with everything, so that you can track your cycle and then make sure that everything's happening like clockwork.
So is that app launched yet?
Yeah. Yep. So it's like 3 weeks ago about.
Oh, wow. All right. So this is what I'm interested in. So you've got this box. What I love about Besti Co, first of all, is we're applying essentially standard technology. It's complex, but it's known technology to a problem that we've all had for 1,000 years, right? Yep. Any business that just adds better tech to a problem that we've been paying for 1,000 years, I'm sold on that. I remember the very first time you mentioned it, I was like, oh, I'm embarrassed that this idea didn't occur. This is a brilliant idea. And now you're adding a new layer of tech to it. So with your current clients, is this, are they in love with it? Are they kind of like, meh? How's the rollout going?
Yeah, well, so we have had, like, before we even made the announcement, there were a ton of downloads. And I guess because right now it's only on the App Store. So we haven't gone into Google Play with Android yet. But so, it is something I feel like that people want with our current customers, because they're already in the remit. They're already getting everything in shipped in sync with their cycle. But like the beauty of it is like, even if you're not great at tracking your period, it still is set up in a way that it will come on time every time. But I think there is a trend now where like users are, so many people who are going through different issues, like they're having symptoms perimenopause. That's a huge area that we're focused on, because I just turned 38 and the hot flashes are a real thing and it's not fun. Yep. And the brain fog, yes, like there's so many things now that are becoming more and more talked about. We want to be educated. We want to have control over our health. And so we've got OBGYN actually as our advisor. I was talking with her earlier this week. And she told me, she's like, yeah, I have patients who come in and they'll show me their phones and show me like all the data, the symptoms that they've logged and all that. And so there really is, I think, a growing trend now where it's just moving towards that because we have access to so much information, but you want to make sure it's good information. Hence, like, I mean, I go on a Reddit forum and very well-meaning people are just like, I tried this. But if you want to just double check the advice that you're getting. And medical professionals, people who are certified and trained are the best source.
Yeah. No, I love it. Like I said, I have 3 women in my life. Two of them have gone through the change, and everybody's different. And having that advisor that you can trust. And the other thing is, I try not to bring it up in too many social circles because you don't want to be. I used to make fun of CrossFitters. Like, do you know how to tell if there's a CrossFitter at your party? Oh,
okay. I feel like a joke is coming. Tell me, dad joke time.
Yeah, definitely.
They'll tell you. Okay.
Yeah. But no, what we allow to be in our food products and in our personal care products is it's kind of ridiculous. I think it's a standard place in America, and so we let it go. And so having somebody watch your back and having somebody curate those products is a big deal. And then connecting that to a personalized app, I think it's very cool. Very, very excited about the product and where you guys have been going. I've been watching you grow for. You guys have been 3 years now officially.
We just hit the 2-year mark, but really 2023 is when that was the idea and the building and the piloting. So 2024 is really when we got our products in, we started to build that brand and get more recognition. So I would say just over a year, really, we've been
really in the marketplace. Yeah. What are you guys doing for the logistics? Are you using kind of an Amazon model? Because you have a highly curated product that is sent out to individuals on a varying schedule, right? So talk to me about the challenges of managing that logistical headache.
Yeah, well, funny because we are on Amazon, but those are our a la carte products. And we do sell a first period kit. So that's where the curated box.
Oh, I love that.
So, but we actually have just down the road from me, there's an organization called Workwell Industries. And this is the me coming from my development background and having that nonprofit like ethos. So they are a nonprofit, and we're in a part of town in Louisville in the West End where it's just it's underserved community. Mm-hmm. And the people that they employ either maybe have barriers into the workforce because of maybe criminal record, there's disabilities. So they're giving job opportunities to people who really, really need it. And so it's building back into the community, which again, is like, if I can have a business that does well and is successful, but also helps the community, like that's a win for me.
I'm actually starting a project I'll be talking about towards the end of the summer. But the idea is we as a business leading community have lost our way. I think that we got focused on how to make a profit and how to scale things and how to throw technology at stuff. And we forgot that one of our moral charges is that we lead the community. We generate the income, we generate the jobs. And yeah, that's awesome to be able to give back to the community and to help give people a hand up, not a handout, right? I think that's super cool. All right. So real quick, who do you think is the ideal client? Like in my mind, this is like your grandma and you have a granddaughter, and the first period kit is a great way to help that transition conversation and to make it a thing of excitement instead of a thing of dread. Maybe an aunt. Who do you think is the best person to get a first period kit?
Yeah. So, I mean, our primary customer is women between the ages of like 25 and 45. So we have, people starting their careers and even people who live in major cities and where my co-founder just moved to New York. And just the lifestyle there of like, hey, I would really love the convenience of having this sent to my house and not having to make trips out to the store. There's an element there where that we're serving that group of people. And then people who are in the perimenopause stage. So one of the things that I did at the end of last year was bring on a whole line of supplements, again, looking for natural solutions, because we are HSA and FSA approved. So like our pads and tampons can be used with that. But we're not a pharmacy, like not yet,
Right.
at least. We might partner, and there's some deals like that's down the road. But yeah, so women who are like going through it, having really hard symptoms that were like your period is just it's a struggle, and you
Mhm.
need extra support. And so there's that component of it as well. And then of course, like, I mean, I guess by default we do have the dads who are buying the first period kits for their daughters or buying it for their spouse, and those aren't
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
primary customers. But they do get excited when I tell them that they don't have to go to the store and buy tampons anymore, that there's an app for this.
Guys, for the guys that are watching, take care of your ladies, and this is a great way to. It's a great way to. Actually, that's one of the things I got most excited about. I haven't bought razors, or shaving cream or soap for probably 2 or 3 years at the store because I just go through the Dollar Shave Club. I think when it first came out, I was like, oh, that's a problem solved, and then I just get the. I think for me, it's every other month or something like that. But yeah, like this is a great way to solve a problem that is a real problem, but I don't know, maybe it's a little bit awkward for guys to deal with.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about you as the founder. So you've been at this for 2 years. That's exciting. What innovations do you see down the road? I think you always tell me that best innovations come from where? What are you looking at from an innovation perspective?
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's just that challenging of the status quo and seeing
Mm.
like, I mean, I think we're developed or conditioned in a way. It's like, okay, in our minds, it's like, I have to go to the store. That's where I'm going to get these products from. And you're adding on the steps and the time. So again, we are solving for that. And you know, one of the things I don't want to say too much because we're exploring. We're exploring
Okay.
right now.
That's fair. I did kind of put you like, hey, can you tell me about your research that you're doing right now?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, we're exploring right now the potential of like a way to really maybe go more into that healthcare avenue and what that could look like. And because we have an OBGYN advisor, it's
Mhm.
like there's maybe an element too where we can support providers in this space. And so to help that relationship between the patient and the doctor, and like so that again, it's all about like helping women like really have a way to take control of their health and not to be wondering, okay, I'm going through this and I have this symptom and what do I do? But like to really, it's like you have a question, you need to get an answer right away. And not to be left in this place where you're just like anxiety ridden or thinking like, what's wrong with me? Like there are other, it's like, you're not alone in this and we can help. So.
Yep. No, I love it. Actually, my younger sister, who is by far the smartest of all of us, has started a holistic clinic. So she's a nurse practitioner, and she is moving away from the traditional model of when you get sick, come and we'll give you some pills, and rather how do we live in a more holistic way. No, I think that's, and I think that a lot of people are moving towards that with the rising cost of healthcare and also just the information that's available. I think that's very cool. Very cool. Cool. Well, let's talk about this one then. Convenience isn't lazy. I know we talked about this at the top of the show. You're not just a founder who had a crazy idea. You actually have a lot of background. You were chief of staff for an NGO for a while, international contracts. Talk to me about time management and what we as leaders need to do to stay at the top of our game.
Yep. Well, so and the way I see it is like time is not this infinite resource. Like you have a very strict amount of time. And I don't know about you, but like I feel like time is even sped up. Like the fact that we're here in June, I'm like, where's the last 6 months gone? Like everything is just happening so quickly. And there's an element, it's like to be able to claim back some of your time is so, so valuable. And that's, I kind of see it through that lens is like, if there's a way to really make this a quick process, so that you can do the things and like use your time like for what really matters to you, that makes a difference. Like that is also that's improving someone's life in a whole different concept than just supporting them through their menstrual cycles. So
no, I talk about this with getting a cleaner for your house. I have a good friend named Aram Street who has a cleaning company here locally. When you reach a certain level of productivity, I mean, your hourly rate has got to be $200 an hour. Otherwise, you're just a really overpaid janitor, or Now I do the dishes at the house because my wife likes to see me doing the dishes. Like that's an emotional point base for her, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
having somebody else do the dishes, having somebody else mow the lawn, convenience is what really productive people do. Is they say, hey, my time can be better spent doing something else, and
Mhm.
sometimes it's spending time with your kids, right? Going to the ball games, watching them play, throwing football with them. But if all your time is just doing maintenance, I think you're missing out on the point of
Yeah.
life. Yeah. Cool. So why is it that most people don't see, they see life as full of problems? What's the key to seeing life as maybe opportunities?
Yeah. Well, so I think too, so, I mean, just in general, you're talking about getting people to service. Like, uh, let's take, for instance, the laundry. You've got a pair of dirty socks, maybe in the floor in the corner, and you don't pick it up the first time, and then you just stop seeing it. And so they
Oh
live in
yeah.
that corner for, it's like 6 months later, and you're like, oh, wait, I need to get those up. It's like that, just you stop seeing the problem because you're just used to it. It's just
Yeah.
it almost becomes like, oh, this is just a part. This is a part of the daily life. This is the grind. That's how it is. But like, so I think for me, it's like, I don't know. I have when things feel off, or it's like just catching those things, and like really, it's like, oh wait, like, and I don't know if it's just this inherent like I'm like always looking to improve something. It's never good enough, and so I think that's both maybe a strength and a weakness, because I like make my family crazy, because it's like, oh, it can be better. Like, no, we can improve this. So
Yeah. No, I love it. I'm trying to think of Jordan Peterson. I love Jordan Peterson. I like his intellectual style. But one of the things that he says is he says I'm not a confrontational person, but that's the exact reason I have a fight over everything.
mm,
Because if you don't have that fight over the, if you're just like my daughter's going off to college, and I was just telling her this, I was like, have a fight with your roommate over a lot of small things that are low stakes, so
mm,
that you can get it right. Otherwise, you'll just be like, well, I don't want to talk to her about the fact she didn't do the dishes. And then every time you see those dishes, you're going to be frustrated about it over and over and over. And so tuning ourselves to be willing to have that small fight instead of just saying, the socks in the corner, that's okay. Because eventually we'll stop seeing them.
mhm.
But then also being willing to have that fight and say, why is it that it's taking so long to do this? It shouldn't take this long to write this report. It shouldn't, and then demanding, not accepting the status quo. That's one of the things I love about Besti Co. It's very cool. So let's talk about status quo. You also said something about status quo to me. Status quo is just
Like, am I supposed to finish that sentence? Because
no. Sorry about that. I've caught you off guard here. This is my fault. This is my fault. You always say that status quo is just something as someone else's unquestioned solution. I think that's
okay, yeah.
yeah. Sorry. It's funny how
I was like, is it trivia? Is it
is it
Jeopardy?
trivia?
Yeah.
No. That's funny. It's funny how somebody will say something to you that really sticks. Like when you said that to me, I was like, man, that's really cool. I want to talk about that. So anyway, so how do you, as a leader, both like internationally, but also in your home and with your team, how do you go about challenging the status quo? Because you can't do it all the time. That would be exhausting to be with somebody. So in your mind, what are the signals when you're like, yeah, this is something that needs to be fixed?
So I would say, like, I do a lot of digging in like Reddit forums, and mainly to inform what people are experiencing and what they're actually willing to go online and gripe about. And it's nice because you can see, like, people are a little bit more free when it's an anonymous forum.
Yeah,
I'll say that.
yeah, this is
But
true.
yeah, so you learn a lot, and like understanding that what the problem is. It's like there's some things, it's like, if there's not a problem, what are you actually solving? And so we'll take that, and after doing research, companies like, okay, this is what I've seen. And my co-founder's like, oh, I was talking to someone the other day, and this was their experience that they shared with me. And so bringing that together, and it's like, okay, what could we do? Because we're not going to be able to accomplish everything and be everything to everyone. But what falls within Besti's mission and our capabilities. And so how can we help serve a need?
I love it. Being clear on your vision. I think it's Steve Jobs that said, he said, I'm more proud of the stuff we didn't do than the stuff that we did do. Because when we said no to stuff, it gave us the time and space to work on the things that really did matter. I think that's very cool. Well, we're kind of running short on time here. I want to give you just a platform. You got 2 or 3 minutes here. What do you want to tell the audience? Maybe about business, maybe about Besti Co. The floor is yours.
All right. Well, yeah, the biggest thing right now is all about the app. And so, we had just released it and like really we're in the stage. It's like, we want users so we can get that feedback and see, how people are interacting with it, engaging with it, and ways that we can develop on it further. Because at this stage, it's like our MVP of it. And so we're going to be looking on ways to make it better because that's what I do.
That's what I do. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Like just having people come in, like tell your friends, get it yourself, buy a box, support us. We're a Kentucky brand. Like we got to be here for each other and support each other. So just looking for more people that we can serve here in the community itself.
I love it. I love it. Hey, listen, I'm just going to be a little bit more direct. Amanda is being a little bit shy here. Besti Co is an amazing box. It solves a very real problem. Guys, I know that we get a little bit embarrassed about talking about the subject. It's something we just don't understand. We feel weird about. This is a great way for you to engage your loved ones, your wives, your daughters, and help them through this time and learn about it yourselves. If you have a young lady in your life that's going through her first cycle, go to Besti Co, find out about their first period box, turn it into a rite of passage, an exciting moment, something that's celebrated rather than something that's weird. And if you're a hard charging lady, and there's a lot of ladies that run our world. I'm thinking of Joy Watson has been a mentor of mine for at least 15 years. Every time I ask myself, how do I handle this situation? I'm like, would Joy be proud of me? Right. So there's a lot of you out there. Just challenge the status quo, take care of this, let it get taken care of. Tell your husband it's time to let you be pampered a little bit because you guys are the ones that make the world turn. I love Besti Co. Reach out. So it's heybestico.com.
That's right.
Heybestico.com.
And Besti is with an I, not an E at the end.
Heybestico.
Heybesti.com. Heybesti.co is our Instagram and TikTok channels, and you can also follow us there.
There you go. And how do they find the app? It's on the Apple Store. Go to the Apple Store.
So right now, just on the App Store, and it's Besti, again, with just an I, no E at the end, period tracker.
Okay. Besti with an I, period tracker.
Yep.
Get a hold of that, start taking a little bit more control of your health, get connected with Besti. And Amanda's is in the startup phase. She's listening to the customers. So if you want an organization that's going to help you out and listen to you, that you can make a difference in, reach out to them, get connected with the app. And we are excited to see where Besti goes from here. Yeah. With that, we are out.